I was a little bit worried about the curtsy because I'd never tried it before, but I'd seen it done lots of times in the movies, and I was sure I could manage it.
Match points to Althea Gibson. Comes in, serves very fast, and Darlene Hart can only put it back of the net, and the new Wimbledon ladies singles champion, the first colored champion ever, is Althea Gibson of South Carolina.
They tell me I kept saying, "At last, at last." We stood at attention and waited as Queen Elizabeth walked gracefully out on the court. "My congratulations," she said. "It must have been terribly hot out there." Shaking hands with the Queen of England was a long way from being forced to sit in the color section of a bus going into downtown Wilmington, North Carolina.
Who could have thought that stands before you a Negro woman raised in Harlem and went on to become a tennis player with the help of many, many people, and finally wound up being a world's champion. As a matter of fact, the first black woman world's champion of this whole world. And believe it or not, I still am.
Althea Gibson was an American tennis champion. She won Wimbledon in the 1950s. To accomplish what she accomplished during that period of time is really nothing short of a miracle.
Althea Gibson was a street kid in Harlem, in New York City. So that was a very tough upbringing in a very, very tough area in New York, in the slums of New York City. Her father was extremely tough on her growing up and would literally, physically box with her and teach her how to fight like a man.
I always wanted to be somebody. It's why ever since I was a wild, arrogant girl in my teens, playing stickball and basketball and baseball and paddle tennis and hanging around bowling alleys half the night, I've worshipped Sugar Ray Robinson.
And I think Sugar Ray Robinson she knew quite well. He helped her train.
It wasn't just because he was a wonderful fellow and good to me when there was no special reason for him to be. It was because he was somebody, and I was determined that I was going to be somebody too, if it killed me.
Little Rock, Arkansas, and the first phase of the trouble. The white population are determined to prevent colored students from going to the school their own children attend. Picketing the school, they clash with the police. The law of the land decrees integration of white and colored schoolchildren. But racial feeling still runs high in the southern states of America, as shown by these pictures taken by an amateur cameraman. The law of the land is rejected.
It was a tough, tough road. Blacks had no privilege. Blacks had no freedoms, from riding on the back of the bus, not eating in a restaurant.
And when the driver demanded that we give up this seat, I felt that the time had come to not take it anymore.
African Americans were not allowed to play in tournaments to get rankings until 1950.
It has been written that I had the best woman serve in tennis history, and I believed it.
She coordinated very well and very strong indeed. She could play any ball game with a male on equal terms.
She was a serve volleyer. She was aggressive, almost 6 foot tall. Long arms, long legs, and she moved great. She was very confident every time she stepped on the court. You know, I said, I'm going to beat you.
Her Majesty comes to the centre court to see the women's final, which is between Althea Gibson, now serving, and Darlene Hart, both from America. Long-legged Althea takes the first 4 games easily, and it looks like a walkover. But Darlene Hart puts up a stubborn resistance to capture the 5th and 6th. Temperature in the centre court has touched a sweltering 90 degrees. It must be like an oven to play in, but Althea Gibson looks surprisingly cool. Very few fireworks this time, just a calm domination of the play, which proves too much for her hard-working opponent. Miss Gibson serving for match point. Victory to Althea in 2 straight sets. She and Darlene Hart join forces later in the day to win the women's doubles. But first, the Queen comes onto the court to present the singles trophy to the 29-year-old girl from Harlem. Congratulations to Althea Gibson on achieving her ambition to be the first member of her race to win a Wimbledon championship.
What you have done has added strength and meaning to the Star-Spangled Banner and is as truly American as the Stars and Stripes.
She said she's going to win. So I was going to argue with it. Fine. Get in for a dress. If you're going to win, you've got to dress properly.
It seemed a long way from 143rd Street in Harlem. Dancing with the Duke of Devonshire was a long way from not being allowed to bowl in Jefferson City, Missouri, because the white customers complained about it.
It's a ticker-tape parade for Althea Gibson, America's new world tennis queen, and the first of her race ever to win the coveted crown at Wimbledon. 100,000 cheer the 29-year-old New York girl on her return from England, where victory culminated 7 years of tennis endeavor, which began on the streets and schoolyards of Harlem. Officially congratulated by Mayor Wagner, Miss Gibson modestly tells her well-wishers that victory was achieved with their hope and encouragement.
She did break a lot of barriers, and sometimes you don't really realize all the great things that you've done until, unfortunately, maybe you're gone.
Althea Gibson was undoubtedly the Jackie Robinson of tennis. Look how history has been kind to Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Arthur Ashe. But look how the story has not been told about Althea Gibson. And if she had been a man, it is no doubt in my mind, unfortunately, she would have been known in every way. She would have gotten every opportunity.
Sports' role for changing society. It's a place where people can escape. It's a place where people can aspire, where people come together. It's an opportunity to make a difference.
God grant that all the youngsters who are coming up today, trying to get in some field of sport that they love, they like to play, I hope that God grant them the encouragement, the determination to carry on as I have.
She was born in 1927 in South Carolina in the cotton fields, and her parents literally were sharecroppers, which is about a half a step removed from slavery. And 30 years later, Althea got the Wimbledon trophy from the Queen of England.
Thank you again from the bottom of my heart, and I thank you, thank you, thank you.